new breed of young entrepreneurs have made the decision to take their destinies in their hands. They are determined to not only improve their lives, but to also positively impact the lives of others. With a burning determination to succeed, they are establishing businesses in diverse sectors of the Nigerian economy, including the media, information technology, entertainment, and manufacturing. This series examines their journey to imminent success. Welcome to the Future Force. Debola Adeola and Lanre Oyedotun are the co-founders of Athena Logic, a Lagos-based technology company. Debola graduated from the University of Surrey, where he studied mechanical engineering. His decision to become an engineer was in line with family tradition, as his father and brothers are also engineers. Lanre studied computer and electrical engineering at the University of Connecticut and has a degree in economics and finance from Bryant University, both in the United States. After gathering some work experience abroad, both co-founders returned to Nigeria, where they met at the NYSC camp in Iseyin, Oyo State. They formed a friendship and then made the decision in 2009 to start a company together.
When we first started, we were talking about why can't you buy stuff easily online here in Nigeria? Keep in mind that this is March 2009. There's no Jumia, there's no Konga, there's not, in fact, there's nobody. It's a desert, there's a wasteland. And let me give you an example. There's no way for you to make payments with your card online in Nigeria. You have to go and find PayPal or some other thing. So we said, oh yeah, let's even start this thing. We called it BidNG at that point in time, bidng.com. And we started it, and we pushed it for like a month. We're brainstorming, we're talking to people, technical side and all that. And we said, hey, this infrastructure is really messed up right now in terms of there's no payment infrastructure. How do people make payment for our stuff and then eventually get it? So we're like, okay, let's attack the payment problem. Let's try and see, can we find a way for people empowering the ecosystem who are trying to do e-commerce in Nigeria to make payments? So we started on the payment side. So anyway, we started doing that, started talking to a bunch of these banks, a bunch of these telcos, trying to work with them on a business development level. We had a company out of the UK called UPaid Systems that has developed this thing across the world, and we were the Nigeria representatives. So we'd gone and done the business development from that side and said, okay, we have the solid technical background, and now we just need to do the business development here with the people at the high level so that we can power these guys. And we're working on that for a bit, but in March 2010, the CBN came and said, bam, 500 million naira paid up share capital to do this business. I was like, how is this going to work? Because even though at that point in time, I had 3-4 years experience, PwC, all that. Debola had about 2-3 years experience. We didn't have enough of a track record to go and meet people and say, hey, we need 500 million naira. So we said, hey, we still believe there's a business here. We still believe there's a significant problem. There's still an itch that we need to scratch that we haven't reached here. So we said, how do we re-strategize our business? How do we find the smallest kernel that is of value here that we can provide value to people? At that point in time, apart from the CBN, because we ran around trying to get that license, talking to the CBN mobile payments office and all that, and we were also doing something with NCC where we were trying to get a license to be a seller of airtime. So thankfully at that point in time, the license had come through for us, so we were a seller of airtime. So we said, hey, why don't we take it down to the smallest level, the smallest thing, which is selling airtime to people. From their phones, they can request airtime and move forward. And we said, okay, let's build a business around it. And so we scrambled money together. At that point in time, we've been out on this for about a year. So funds were starting to get low because savings after over a year, you've already exhausted most of them. But anyway, we managed to find a way to put money together to do an initial prototype. And we started selling to people and proving some of the assumptions as valid. You know, some of the assumptions that we had are people going to pay money for this service? Are people going to patronize this service? Are people comfortable putting in their card details to pay for credit? All these assumptions we're learning on a small scale so that we can do on a bigger scale. So that's kind of how we started up as Top Up Genie.
The co-founder started Top Up Genie, a product designed to provide customers with a convenient way of purchasing airtime for mobile phones.
Top Up Genie, basically the way it works is we have direct connections to the telecommunications companies, right? And so we have a wallet with them, right, where we've already put some of money down with each of them and said, okay, so every time you make a request as a user, our platform does the payment processing and says, okay, it's right to give you credit, and then informs the network that, okay, give Mr. A 500 Naira credit, give Mr. B 1,000 Naira credit, and then automatically credits your phone. So we also have redundancy built in there because Nigeria, being what Nigeria is, sometimes you have internet problems, you have bandwidth issues, or you have outages. So we might send a request to the network and they don't fulfill. You as our customer don't want to know that the network don't fulfill. So of course, we have vouchers. So we buy the CDs or we buy the vouchers and we upload them to make sure that just in case the network isn't delivering at that point in time, we can deliver your credit, because our tagline is 6 seconds or less. So in 6 seconds or less, you get that credit to your phone, right? SMS confirmation, email confirmation, and the credit to your phone. So bam, it's there. So apart from that, we have different channels. We have something called Flash for Credit. So basically, you've already you set up your Top Up Genie account. We give you a dedicated number, which is 0817-460-4088, right? And once you flash that number, it sends you a predefined amount of credit. So you said, okay, every time I flash your number, I want to get 1,000 Naira credit. I want to get 200 Naira credit. You just beep it. Once it rings once, the credit gets sent to your phone immediately. Apart from that, we have text for credit, which is similar. Just you send a text, top up, amount, let's say 500 Naira, and your personal code. Now, these avenues are secure because you still need to go to your account and pre-configure and allow somebody to use it. So let's say you have a driver, or you have a little brother or little sister who is in school and they need credit on the go. You can say, okay, allow this person to use up to 2,000 Naira from my account. And I'm just going to pre-configure and say, okay, click the checkbox, allow the person this number to request credit from my account. And once that's done and they have the correct details, we fulfill them fully. We also have mobile apps for all the platforms. J2ME, which are the normal Nokia phones, for Android, iOS, for BlackBerry, and for Windows phones.
Top Up Genie offers a variety of payment options and channels to users. There are also plans to eventually accept payments from outside of Nigeria.
We currently allow users to pay with their ATM cards, their debit cards. They can pay with their Verve, their Visa, their MasterCard right now. We're working on getting international switching set up so people from abroad who might want to send credit to their mother, say, okay, my mother is in the village, I want to send her 5,000 Naira credit, can use their cards and pay. So hopefully by the end of the month, that should be up and running too. So we're actively working on that. Also, you can prepay. So we have our bank account details. If you transfer money to a bank account, we give you credit, we give you value immediately as a Top Up Genie balance, and you can use all these services. We are working because the longer term goal has to be more than just come bring your card, because the convenience is not really there each time if you have to insert your card. We're working on something called PCI DSS level 1 compliance, which is Payment Card Industry Data Safety Standards. It's like a standard that Visa and MasterCard have agreed internationally that for you to be able to store card details and show that you are securing it, there's a level of auditing that you have to go through every quarter. And basically you have to show that your platform is robust, secure, and scalable. And so we're actually implementing this right now. Once we implement that, we're actually talking to a couple of the switches so that we can do stored card transactions. Just like how you go to Amazon.com and you have something called one-click shopping. So pretty much it's the same thing. The first time you put in your information, it's stored on a secure place where nobody can access. And then on the go, you just say, hey, top up, and it's just seamless.
Dapo and Lanre's marketing strategy includes conducting regular public events to demonstrate the effectiveness of the Top Up Genie platform. They also rely on referrals from satisfied customers and have plans to use popular figures to eventually endorse the platform.
We like to do small experiments before we go and do big. So we like to find out which one is reasonable, which one should we double down, and which one should we pull our money away from. So we've done some small experiments, which we've gone and done activations out in the field. When I say activation, I mean maybe you go to somewhere like Silverbird, or you go to somewhere like a Ikeja Mall or the Palms, and actually talk to people about Top Up Genie. Do a live demo, because that's the beautiful thing. We have a product that works, and we have uptime on our platform of 3 nines. So, sorry, technically it's again. But basically that means that our platform doesn't go down. It doesn't go down. So meaning once you have internet or you have a way to flash or something, you can request and our platform will deliver and fulfill. So people are surprised when they try and use it because it works. So that's the best way. So far, doing live demos in the field with a product that works and works brilliantly has been, people just sign up and immediately like, oh wow. And then they go and they tell the entire office and they start using Top Up Genie and the entire office starts using Top Up Genie. So in fact, some of our users are marketing people and they've even been the ones to reach out to us to say, hey, this is your thing. I don't know how you do it, which kind of black magic or white magic we are doing, but this thing works really well. How can we help you get it out there? And so those activations are really what we're doing. But also we're playing around with some online advertisements, Facebook marketing, Google AdWords. We're working with that and also some Twitter stuff. And we're trying to do some endorsements from some of the celebrities that we do know to say, hey, because they use our service too. And they say, okay, this is a good service and I'd be willing to put my name to it and say, let's push forward with it. So we're working on a whole bunch of that. We're also trying to find people who have a use case, a unique use case. Like the initial target group, the niche that we want to win are people who are in remote locations, right? Couples who are up country, people who are away from anything, maybe, well, I say civilization, but no, not quite, but people who are in remote places, people who are near offshore oil rigs, who need access to credit, they want to call, they want to do things. Those who have a burning need, right? You and I might be able to go outside and talk to a malam and scratch the card, but even you and I, why do I need to do that when I can press a button from an app on my phone? I don't know if you've ever had a situation where you scratch the card and then the thing just messes up, right? And you're trying to redeem or retrieve the number. And you have to take it to Glow or take it to MTN or whatever so that they can give you a credit. Why do you need to do that? With Top Up Genie, press one button, bam, 6 seconds or less. Normally it's 2 seconds. By the time I press the button and I look at my phone, the text has come in from a digital like that. Your phone has been topped up with 500 naira. Simple, straightforward, seamless, and secure. And the other part of what we do is that we have something called scheduled top-up. So your BIS expires on 25th of every month, right? You can schedule a top-up so that it tops you up your 1.5 on the 24th. Or if you know the exact hour that your BIS expires, you can set it up for the hour before that. Automatically tops up, move forward. Or let's say you're a company and you have staff and you need your staff to continue to do business and call people and all that. But you want to make sure you have full visibility into how the money is being spent on credit. Instead of saying, hey, there's a 10,000 naira credit allowance or 5,000 naira credit allowance, why not set up an account with us? And immediately, with one click, instead of you having to call this or call that or buy this card or none of that nonsense. Click button, boom. And also CUG services. Like CUG is a closed user group. Basically, it's a way that you and people in your company can all call each other for free, quote unquote, because you already paid a flat amount. And then we offer that too. So pretty much the whole universe of things around Top Up, we offer to make things life easier for people and for corporates.
Like any new business, the co-founders faced challenges at inception. But with the support of family, they were able to overcome them.
One thing that in retrospect was a big challenge or that helped a lot or that didn't hinder us was the fact that our parents or our family supported us. I had made up my mind that I was going to do this regardless. However, the fact that we didn't have to face any resistance from them, or I mean, they cared about us. They wanted us to have jobs and security, but they said, okay, you know what? You're young, you have this passion, you have this opportunity, we're there to support you. Go ahead and do this. At the point we quit our jobs and decided to go into this full time. After a year and things weren't looking exactly as smooth or as progressive as we expected them to be, we then started to think, how do we move forward now? Where do we get funds to support for the next 2 months, for the next 1 month? And there again, family came into play.
The bond of friendship between the two partners and their determination to build a successful business has enabled them overcome difficulties. Their willingness to learn from their mistakes has made the partnership even stronger.
There have been points that I've felt not packing in. I think my passion is still too strong for that. And I don't think any friction we've had has. I've never wanted to quit because we've had this friction. The way I face challenges is if there's friction between us, if there's sort of disagreement, what is the best way to bring that out and be as open as possible? Be vulnerable. I think that is key. You have to be vulnerable. Because if there's no trust, there's no point going any further than the point you are. I've never thought of quitting because of any relationship. However, there have been times when I've thought, oh crap, how are we going to do this? Or when you get this bouts of, you know what, there's this market out there. How are you going to do it? Are people going to use your service? Or when we have technical challenges, and I'm like, at the early days, there was a period where every single day for about 2 weeks, there was a new challenge. The server was down, this didn't work, payment didn't work, customer got debited, they didn't get their airtime. And you're like, you know what, this is 100 customers. We're trying to get 1 million customers, we're trying to get 5 million customers. How are you going to handle all of that? And so you get this flood of, what am I going to do? But then, for me, the way it works is, I sit down and I think about it for about 30 minutes, an hour, and say, take it a step at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day. You create something, it breaks, you learn from your mistakes, and you build and move forward. You have to have that resilience. And that is one thing that I think we both have learned. That when something breaks, you know what, it's not the end of the day. You have to rise up again and move forward. So the times that I felt the least, I felt, not weakness, I felt the most challenges, have also been times where I've surpassed them and become stronger because I've thought, you know what, I can overcome this.
Lanre and Debola continue working hard to build their fledgling company. Their ability to raise additional financing and the discovery that they had clients that depended on them for their services made the duo realize that they now had a viable business.
So when we had the prototype, we had the first paying customer. Well, these were family and friends, so I guess you could still quit on them. But then we then got seed funding for a significant, well, for an amount of equity in our company. And then we spent that halfway and we spent that to get where we are today. And you're thinking, you know what, you can't quit on these guys. And then you get the first company on board and the company depends on you. And then the customer calls and says, for instance, in the early days when we had issues with our platform, a customer calls and says, you know what, I can't do this business. I'm trying to make it, I was on an international phone call, I was trying to use my top-up Chini account, it didn't work because of you. I can't do my business anymore. And so you start to think people actually depend on your business for their business. And you're like, at this point, there's no going back. You just have to get stronger. And the stronger you get, the more people then start to rely on you and you say, this is it.
Lanre and Debola are not overly concerned with the competition in the sector they operate in. They are convinced that there is a large enough market and are confident that they have developed a product that can compete against any other provider. They are also willing to collaborate with other players by offering them complementary services.
There are a few companies, we've identified about 2-3 of them that are strong in the space that we're trying to play in. However, we feel that, first of all, competition is good for the customer at the end of the day because we all try to bring the best out of ourselves to stay ahead. Secondly is it's up to us to do what we do best, to provide the best technology, the convenience, the customer service, to let people know that we're here for good and that we're here to help them. There's almost a personal, emotional feel or connection that we have with our customers that we don't think they can get anywhere else. However, we believe there's a lot of room for collaboration. We even work with some of these competitors right now, and we have features, we have products that they can work with us to get the best out of each other. So it's not the market is big enough, but we go there and do the best that we can and let the customers do the choosing based on that.
Just like many businesses operating in Nigeria, Athena Logic was faced with a number of obstacles that they had to overcome.
So we're trying to connect to one of the major telcos. We connected last year in July, I think. We didn't complete that connection until about 4 weeks ago. For whatever reason, people are on holiday. The number of times we've transferred ownership of a certain or particular department, it's been numerous, and so you have to start again. The technical know-how, the competence, just give us a call back and say this is wrong, or the willingness to say, okay, you know what, we're going to sit down with this, we're going to walk through this. The business in Nigeria is just very slow. So we've experienced that with the telcos. The NCC license took us about almost a year to come through. Getting our SSL certificate That's the security certificate I spoke about early on. It took us about 3 months. So, particular to Nigeria, well, I don't know if it's just Nigeria or a community like Nigeria. If you set up your ideal plan, if it's not supposed to take 3 months, I would say multiply that by 3. So that in itself, that's been a very huge challenge. Things like payment processing, I think that's been one of the biggest challenges we've had. And it's been solved step by step, little by little, but it's still huge. People, that very convenient way to make payment online, to use our service or any other service out there, it's still a big one. People, getting the right staff that have the right attitudes, that are willing to work and go the extra mile, that are willing to improve. I think we're lucky to have the team that we have now. I don't know how we found them, but we're lucky to have them, and we're going to do whatever we can to keep them. Getting the right people on your team, because business, what it boils down to effectively, forget the technical bits of it. I'll tell you what business is. You know what? You're supposed to send an email, wake up, type the email, send it. You're supposed to send a report, wake up, type the email, the report, send it. You're supposed to read a report, read it. It's all about communication. And you find out that a lot of the times, people just don't do it. And that's what slows down business. You're supposed to do something, get up and do it.
For would-be entrepreneurs that intend to operate in the technology industry, Lanre has the following advice.
I'd say number one thing as an entrepreneur, go learn how to code. You must learn how to code. Because the thing is this, if you're a young entrepreneur, by definition, it means you don't necessarily have all the resources and experience the middle-aged entrepreneur, somebody who's in their 30s or has, right? Meaning you don't have those resources to go and hire somebody to come and do your minimum viable product, or your MVP or your prototype. No. So for you to bring this thing off paper, for you to be more than just a talker or an idea guy, you must be able to code enough to build a rough draft of what you're trying to do so that people can then see. Because in Nigeria here, a lot of people, they don't, until they see it, they don't visualize it. They can't visualize it. Because you talking about an idea, an opportunity is great, but then when they see that you've actually gone and done something, there's nothing like that. So you must, number one is that. Number two is, no man or woman is an island. You must work with people. You know, you must, it can't just be, okay, I want to own 100% of this company. No, it's better to own 10% of a 1 billion naira company than it is to own 100% of a 100 million naira company. That's my perspective, and that's my co-founder Debola's perspective. We wouldn't have been where we are right now. We wouldn't have been where we are right now if we didn't have each other. Because there's sometimes when I'm at the bottom of emotionally and mentally, and he's like, you know what, dragging me by the bootstraps that come. We are going forward. And there's sometimes when he's there and he's like, oh, the platform is not working. Blah. I'm like, guy, calm down, Mr. Oga. Let's move forward with this thing, because that's it. You must balance. That's why they say the optimal founder thing is 2 to 4 people. Ideally 2 or 3 people, so that you don't have too many cooks in the. But you must. It's better than one. So find people you can work with, grow with them. The third one is this: learn and know that this is not a one-time transactional thing. It's not about getting the maximum you can get. Okay, I own 55% of the business and these other guys own 25%. No, because doing startups, technology is a career. After we do Top of Genie, we might be here for the next 15 years, we might be here for the next 5. But the relationships that you make, the interactions that you have, the people that you work with, and the trust and respect that you gain with each other will pass on to other things. That's what we need in Nigeria. Once one of us has a good exit that investors can start seeing, it's about the relationship that you've built up that people are going to continue to invest in you and invite you to come and do new things. I think those are the things that you need to have. Also, persistence. Nigeria can be a long thing. Anywhere can be a long thing, but especially here in this environment, as I said, inertia, as Debola said, people don't want to move or change from the way they're doing it. So if you're trying to change a category or change habits, it can take you a while to evangelize and get it moving, but it can be a very powerful movement once you get it moving in the right direction.
The co-founders have a vision to transform Athena Logic from a business to an institution.
Okay, Athena Top Up Genie, what we'd like to have is a company that is institutionalized. That is not just Debola and Lanre guys founding the company 4 years ago and now. No. We want to make payments easier in Nigeria. We want to make doing financial things easier in Nigeria. That's where we're trying to go, such that you don't even need to think about it. You don't need to think about, I'm in this restaurant, do they accept POS? No. You just have some form of paying and press a button from your phone or have some token or whatever, and immediately you pay. You don't need to think about it. It's frictionless. So bringing a lot of these people that are off the financial system onto the financial system by making it easy and convenient for them. And at the same time also, better targeting, right? A lot of people right now pay high amounts for like loans or for insurance because the insurance company or the bank doesn't know who they are. There's no track record that, does this person pay back their bills in time? Or is this person a deadbeat that they'll just come and collect loan? But if you have more data and more understanding, you can make personalized decisions to say, hey, Mr. B, we understand his profile. We know that every time he has paid on time, and so based on that, we can give him a lower rate. Or somebody else, this guy is debtor number 5. We know that this guy does never pays his money. Give him a higher rate. So more personalized and more customized solutions.
Debola Adeola and Lanre Oyedotun are 2 young entrepreneurs determined to build a successful technology company. Starting with Top-Up Genie, they are determined to use technology to make everyday financial transactions more convenient and efficient for everyone.
My name is Lanre Oyedotun of Athena Logic, topupgenie.com.
My name is Adeola, co-founder of Athena Logic and Top-Up Genie.
I'm a future force.